So we're in this newest semester of speed where we're looking for the best bartender in Texas, 2025. Typically, Speedrailz has been all about speed only, making sure some of these bartenders understand just traditional cocktails and shots that people have forgotten how to make. Now, we've noticed that everybody is growing, everybody's mature, and they want to express their creativity, which is why we added the craft component to it. I have here with me Zach, Beverage Director out in Austin at Pinballz Kingdom, also a serial craft cocktail competitor himself, beverage creator. And you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk about what you've been doing.
Yeah, so to John's point, I've been competing in a lot of different craft competitions over the past couple of years. My biggest accomplishment was placing in top 100 for the World Class sponsored by Diageo. I've gotten to compete in a few others, such as like Fierce Whiskers back in 2023. I did their bourbon battle finalist. I've just gotten to compete, win all sorts of different local competitions, and I really love what John is incorporating into the community, and I'm excited to get to work with him as far as like the craft aspect goes.
And this is where we start talking about the actual criteria of the judging, and I'll let Zach go ahead and walk us through that right now.
Yeah, so I think presentation is the biggest part into like getting these competitors the most amount of points throughout all 5 categories. You know, before you even smell the cocktail, before you even taste the cocktail, you see the presentation first. And for me, it dates back into just what those 5 minutes that you get to present your cocktail to these 3 judges, whomever those 3 judges are on that panel. So I think that's the key part of it. And then the other key part of it is like incorporating the sponsor spirit throughout all 5 categories. So the categories are presentation, aroma, flavor, finish, and creativity. So how are you incorporating, in this particular instance out here in Dallas, Hendrick's Gin? How are you incorporating Hendrick's Gin, its story, its history, its tasting notes, its body, its finish, into the entire process? You know, they had this masterclass back at the qualifiers, and so they should know the spirit inside and out. Absolutely. And so how are they taking that into the next level? How are they taking that into this craft element and creating their own spin on it? If they just took that information and they just threw it away, or they're otherwise like tossing it out the window, they are not going to score all that many points.
And with this, we also like to give them a cocktail, a traditional cocktail of which they can create a riff from, so that way it kind of gives them a standard to live by. Here is going to be the Eastern Standard. Can you go ahead and touch on what that drink is and some of the thoughts you talked about with that as well,
yeah,
in comparison to other drinks, what makes it special?
Yeah, so the Eastern Standard is gin as the base, lime, simple syrup, and then what makes it different from like a gimlet or a Southside is that it also incorporates mint as well as cucumber. So it's a very herbaceous take. And so what I'm looking for in this particular round is how are you specifically incorporating the cucumber and the mint into the cocktail? Obviously you can change up the citrus, obviously you can change up the sugar. That's gonna be a lot of how you change, put your own little spin on it. But how are you still maintaining the body and essence and the herbaceousness that an Eastern Standard cocktail is? If I'm not tasting that cucumber, if I'm not getting the aromatics of that mint, it's not an Eastern Standard cocktail, and you are going to lose points across all 5 categories.
Awesome, man. And what we have here is a judge sheet is what you're looking at. These are the 5 categories that Zach just touched on: presentation, aroma, flavor, finish, creativity. They can get up to 5 points, 5 stars for each one of these categories with a total perfect score of 25. We'll do that for each of the 8 bartenders, and then later on today we'll have a speed tournament as well, which we'll end up placing, and then we'll average both of those placements together to figure out who's going to be the tournament champion of Dallas. And then, of course, they will face off against the winners from each of the other core cities in Texas: Houston, Austin, and San Antonio for the state championship. You excited?
Oh, this is amazing. I got to see San Antonio, and Rye did a fantastic job with her cocktail. I know there were a lot of creativity going on in Houston as well, with like open flames and all the crazy nonsense that I got to see. And so I'm really looking forward to see Dallas, and then you got to see what Austin's going to look like here in a month or so.
I'll tell you what, man, Dallas seems to be the most advanced in this state when it comes, I think, to cocktail and beverage education. These guys are veterans out here. While Austin, I feel like a lot of them are a little bit newer. Like, you're the most veteran guy out there, and you're like, what, 25? And here we got, you know what I'm saying, we got 30-year-olds in here. Dallas is ready to show up and show out. So I'm excited. Stay tuned. You're gonna see what these bartenders are coming up with.
Hi you guys, my name is Ruby, and today I am presenting to you Rubik's Cube. So Rubik's Cube got its name originally, actually, for me. It's a nickname that was given to me back when I first started working at the Celt Irish pub, and it's stuck to me for 10 years now, so I had to give it light in some way or another. And thank you Speedrailz for giving it an opportunity to play with Eastern Standard today. So my riff on it today, I used hibiscus simple syrup to create a spicy simple syrup using some toasted habaneros and toasted ginger root. I brought it to a simmer and let it sit overnight to just let all the flavors infuse. I did use 2 parts more of the regular simple syrup against the habanero, just because habanero is a very spicy pepper and it tends to sometimes overpower everything. So I did go the hibiscus and habanero route because I wanted to implement a lot of me into this cocktail and my heritage. I am Mexican, and right now it is one of the best times to try to stand up and be proud of where we come from. So I did use on my rim as well very known Farritos Chilito, which is going to be a Mexican spice, kind of like tajin, but a little bit on the sweeter side of that, to kind of just contrast with the botanicals and tart, and kind of give it a little bit, just a twang of spice into the cocktail as well. When you first bring up the cocktail to your for your first sip, you will get hints of that mint on that garnish. The cucumber smell is really fresh and potent on that as well. Flavor profiles, we're going floral, very floral depth, using that hibiscus flower, while still keeping a bit of the tartness that it also contributes into it. Makes it, to me, with a little bit of zesty spice in there, it makes it a little bit just balanced perfectly well. I did use some bubbles, and it is over ice. Not a lot, people put it on ice, so it does have some bubbles. I topped it with some Topo Chico just to give it a little bit more refreshment to it and a little bit of body to the cocktail. On my garnish, I did utilize a hibiscus wildflower and syrup, so that it is going to be an edible flower. It is delicious, and it's got a great hibiscus palette following it as well. So I hope you guys enjoy, and this is a Rubik's Cube.
What is on the rim of the cocktail again?
So it's a Farritos Chilito. It's a Farritos Chilito, which is kind of like a tajin, but it's not necessarily as spicy. It's got a little bit more citrus and sweet to it than a kick of punch like tajin does. So it kind of is not a spicy rim.
You talked a lot about how this cocktail fits like your Mexican heritage and your culture. Does this cocktail have any ties to Dallas heritage and culture? And if so, how can you connect that?
So honestly, I feel like the big tie to my cocktail, to the community more than anything, is a lot of my friends had a lot to do with it. I sat down with a lot of my local bartenders, kind of just bounced ideas off of them with what I was working on and what I was working with. Hibiscus simple syrup is actually made by one of my really good bartending friends at Room 111, which is the speakeasy at Layered in downtown McKinney. So I used his simple syrup to kind of work and play around with the flavors. Down to the big cubes that are in here. Also, one of my bartender friends was like, "Hey dude, I have beautiful clear ice if you want to use it." So I was gonna make my own big cubes, and I was like, oh yeah, I love it. Honestly, more than anything, I wanted to represent myself in a drink. You know, the ruby hue color, I had to play with it. I love how much the community had input into it and helped me out. And I come from an Irish pub. Craft cocktails may not be my biggest strength, and for Hendrick's gin to be one of the spirit of choice to work with, it definitely threw me for a swing there.
Talk loud for me.
Ruby's cocktail is very bold in all of the right ways, I would argue. It does a great job of incorporating hibiscus, habanero. It's a very well-balanced cocktail, and I love the bold choice of serving it over ice as compared to doing it in a martini glass. I think it worked out pretty well. My biggest point of contention is I can't taste any Hendricks in it, and I also can't really taste any cucumber in it. I think as well-balanced as the cocktail is, it doesn't do enough to establish itself as a specifically Eastern Standard cocktail. But overall, it's very drinkable, very crushable. It's definitely something I would order off a menu. I just wouldn't be able to tell you if it was an Eastern Standard or not.
My name is Tyson. I work at the Pie Tap location off of Henderson and Knox. And what I'm here to introduce to you today is the Electric Wave. And the thing about this cocktail is, even the fact that we're even doing this, creating a cocktail for this competition, it means a lot to me, because that is what I do. This is my passion, being a bartender. You know, I work day in and day out to support my guests and to support my company. But then when it comes creating a cocktail, it brings out all your artistic abilities. Like when you sit down and you do the research, the extensive research of going behind every little detail to put into a drink, for a person to taste that and for them take them out of the world that they're in, depending on what's going on at their home, at their job. When they sit in front of you at the bar and you say, hey, you know what, instead of you drinking the same wine you always drink or the same special cocktail that we have, I have something that I crafted from you from the love in the bottom of my heart. And the thing about this representing Dallas, Texas, first off, I want to thank Hendrick's Gin for even giving us this ability, this opportunity, and being our sponsors. But when this represents Dallas, Texas, it's the elegance and the grace. As me bringing it over here and you seeing how beautiful it is, that's Dallas, Texas. When you leave Dallas and you go somewhere else, people look at you and automatically know you're from Dallas, Texas. You know, and think about the women that pioneered their way to bring light and to bring different aspects. Leslie Gracie, you know, God bless her soul, when she came up with Hendrick, with this version of Hendrick's, I'm pretty sure she was thinking, I need to do something to empower the Hendrick's brand. I need to do something to bring out possibilities in everybody that drinks gin, even if you don't drink gin. But you know, the biggest part about it is the egg white that I put in here, that's the unison. That's what Dallas, Texas does. It brings everybody together. I got friends and family from the country, from Crandall, Texas, that drove out here that show love and support. That's the unison of Dallas, Texas. Then I have local honey. I have a friend that's a beekeeper. He produces the honey, and what I did was infuse that with elderflower syrup to create that sweet taste. And then I took lime, mint, and cucumber, and I infused the juices together to create that lime juice. So this drink isn't just crafted off the thought of my head. It's extensive research, it's extensive love, and much preparation just to show y'all this is how much this means to me and this competition. What I did was I squeezed the organic limes, I cut up some cucumber really thinly, and then I took mint, and what I did was I put them together, I let it sit for a little bit, and I infused it all together for about an hour or so, and then I strained everything out, because I just didn't want regular lime juice. I wanted to bring out the true essence of what this drink does to Hendrick's Gin. And when Leslie Gracie created it, she was thinking about all the floral notes that were going on. You know, that's why I infused the elderflower with the local honey. I'm just trying to show y'all that this is more than just a cocktail. This is my life. That is a buzz button. What that buzz button does, after you take a sip of the drink, you know, you get the nice taste and all the elements within, but when you lick the rim, you let the buzz button settle in your mouth a little bit, and it'll start a tingling effect. And what it will do, it will completely change your whole taste buds. It'll change your palate to show you another side of the drink. Sip it to taste the drink, and then lick the rim so you can taste the elderflower syrup that's around the rim, and then move the buzz button in your mouth, and it'll start to tingle, and then you drink it. To be honest with you, I called every florist, and I wanted to actually get elderflower and create it myself. There's an older lady at my bar who has a garden. Well, the elderflower hasn't blossomed yet, but she gave me the idea of something electrifying, and that's when I went with the buzz button. So I had to try the buzz button myself, see how it works, and it's amazing.
First things first, absolutely phenomenal presentation. We got a chance to hear Tyson talk about how passionate he is about the Dallas industry and how they were able to take Hendrick's Gin and incorporate new history and story into Dallas culture. And so that's just huge points for me. As far as the cocktail itself, elderflower honey, it does plays really well with the gin. Some might argue it's a little safe, like he does recoup some creativity points with the buzz button, basically kind of giving you a different sensation with the different taste buds, different onto your taste buds, and just incorporating all around very good experience. So this was a great cocktail, already in early contender for top cocktail.
Cool. So like I said, my name is Emily. I'm the bar manager at the Green Room. We're located in Ennis, Texas. We're a speakeasy kind of bar, lounge cocktail. What's really cool about it is like small family business. So the ingredients that I incorporated in my drink I wanted to revolve that around that. So my Hendrick's Gin that I used today actually has been fat washed with beeswax. Fat washing is a process of basically boiling down and condensing the beeswax into a liquid, and then you add your gin, you let it reach a certain temperature, and then you strain the fat from the top of it. And what that does is it adds like a different flavor profile, it kind of balances out the gin, and then it also gives it a different texture whenever you fat wash something. So I wanted a more smooth texture with my drink to kind of compare it. And with that, I wanted my drink to be more smooth and crisp, but kind of give the story of Hendrick's gin as well. So whenever they came and talked to us about it, they said like the creator of Hendrick's was sitting in like a rose garden eating cucumbers and smelling the roses. So this spray that I spritzed over it is actually rose water. So whenever you take a sip from the drink, you're gonna be like eating the cucumbers, but also smelling the roses. So I wanted to incorporate that aspect as far as for Hendrick's goes, but then also tie in the aspects of the green room with my small town. So the green room is privately owned and is a family business, which I really like a lot. It's very farm to table. It's my hometown, so it's very close to home. But the owner's family has a bee farm, and so that's where we get our beeswax, as well as the honey for my honey simple. So I got the beeswax and the honey simple from them, and then they also grow cucumbers, and so I got my cucumber source and freshly pressed from them from their farm. Had a lot of help with that, but that kind of ties into the story behind my drink. Ennis is a very small town. It's very like quaint. I always call it a Hallmark movie town, where everyone knows everyone and everyone's kind of collectively a really big family, and that's what the green room is as well too. So I wanted majority of my drinks to come from Ennis, to come from my hometown, to represent that. But also my opinion on gin is because it's very botanical, it's very floral. I knew we were gonna be outside. I wanted to give y'all something crisp, light, refreshing, not too sweet, but if there is sweetener, it tastes more like natural rather than artificial. So I think by pairing with like the cucumber water with the freshness of it, as well as the honey for the sweetener, I think I achieved that. I chose a Nick and Nora glass just because I wanted to challenge myself. Since it's a smaller occupancy, I believe it's only 5 ounces, I had less room to play, and so I really had to focus on those flavors. And then the cucumber ribbon, I wanted a cucumber ribbon. Everyone lays them on the top. I wanted to try and challenge myself. I did a mint leaf on the top so you can kind of get more of that hint, but there is mint in the drink as well. And yeah, I hope y'all really like it. So I used 1.5 ounces of Hendrick's washed with beeswax. I did 0.75 of Italicus. I did 1/2 ounce of lime juice. I did 1/2 ounce of honey simple. And then I did a whole ounce of the cucumber pressed fresh water.
Okay,
so.
Awesome.
So I just got done judging Emily's drink here. She made a craft cocktail straight from Ennis, Texas. She incorporated a lot of local beeswax and cucumbers from her local area. She really tied into really taking Ennis, Texas, which is a smaller area, back to us. Unfortunately, because of the weather, the presentation wasn't able to get to where she wanted it to be. But we still got to see it kind of come to light. She was very well spoken at the end of it, and I think we all understood what she was going for. And upon tasting the drink, it's very obvious what she wanted to do, wanted to accomplish.
My name is Joshua Barreto, Oak Cliff Sticks, as some people know me, or Sticks for short. I work at Hyde Bar over off Lower Greenville, a staple in the cocktail Dallas scene for over 7 years. I joined in September. I'm now the assistant manager, and I'm proud to lead the way for a playground for bartenders to be creative, educated, and disciplined. I also do a guest Wednesday spot at Seek over in downtown Dallas, more of a stylish cocktail lounge, elevated cocktail still, but Southern style plates. And then I'm also the creator of Sip with Sticks, something I created during COVID-19 to make pre-batch cocktails and merch to still get along with my guests and still talk to them while I couldn't. And it's turned more of into an identity thing where now it's something to more inspire people to show what it means to actually put passion and pride behind what you do when you're actually in hospitality. So today I have this cocktail, a riff on the Eastern Standard. I call it La Rosa Sin Nombre, a cocktail from integrity, from pride, from passion, from struggle. That means La Rosa Sin Nombre means a rose without a name. Inspired by my family's journey as immigrants, this drink represents all the struggle that it took to get here. You never know when something beautiful can pop up no matter where you go, as long as you persevere. I'm a proud Dallas Texan. I hail from Oak Cliff, but My mother's grandparents are proud immigrants from Mexico. My dad's from Corpus Christi, hence the rose. Shout out to Selena. His great-grandparents were from Mexico as well. So not only are we Latino, but we're proud rooted in Texas. Most immigrants are forced to immigrate and assimilate to other people's culture while leaving their own behind. I believe that's called nationalism. There's something called culture. Culture is what leaves a lasting taste in your soul. You can't leave that behind. Some people might flee places where they came from. It's not because they hate where they came from. It's because they can no longer be there. That doesn't mean they have to leave behind who they are. So with that, I chose to go the opposite route of everybody else and just making a slight riff. I decided to tone down all the ingredients. I made clarified lime and adjusted cucumber juice. In Spanish, we call it an agua fresca. I did it with citric and malic, and I added a Scottish sea salt to it, to salt it up. Sea salt flakes from Scottish. And then for Texas, I added a prickly pear cactus soda from Ladybird. Shout out to them. We have all their products at Hyde. And then to make it a little bit Latino, I added hibiscus syrup, but instead of using cinnamon, I used star anise. And so, and then I just went straight up with Hendrick's 1.5 ounces because I wanted it to be refreshing. I think most people, when they think of immigration, they think of something that's hard. Sometimes it just takes a soft talk for us to get through to whoever we don't agree with or whoever might be different than us, you know, instead of just being very aggressive. So I wanted this drink to not only be Hendrick forward, but still soft on the palate to make you want to keep talking about it and keep coming back. The simple syrup I have is mint clarified simple syrup, and I made a mint distillate that I sprayed over the glass.
What made you choose clarified lime juice rather than regular lime juice?
I had two other variations. The first one was green, and like I said, I kind of figured everybody else would stay green. So my second variation was blue and purple, and I couldn't figure out how to replicate it. So I was stressed until yesterday when I finally decided I was going through Instagram, talking to ChatGPT, telling it about myself, and then I kept going back and seeing everything that's going on in the world right now. And a friend of mine, Alan, who's also competing, kept telling me what makes this distinct about you. He also calls me philosophical Poppy. He says I can never not be serious. So I realized this is my time to shine and what I actually care about. So I decided to tone down the green because, like I said, you still want to assimilate to people's wherever you're going, but that doesn't mean you have to tone down who you are. So that's why I decided to make it this color.
So I just tried Six's cocktail. We love the story behind his cocktail. It was very beautiful. We love the incorporation of where he comes from, where his family comes from. A few things that they've been through as a family and as a unit he shared with us. The aroma was amazing. We do think there needs to be a little work here and there, but overall it's a good cocktail.
Hey y'all, the cocktail is called Shift Change. So the inspiration behind it was bringing my old career and my current career together in a cocktail that's in front of you. Was an EMT, ocean lifeguard, and a paramedic for 8 years before I fully dove into the craft industry. I think there's a lot of similarities that I enjoy in both, but the main thing was being guest focused and helping people. And that kind of switched into not serving drinks, but serving the guests and making sure they leave happy. And that was kind of the whole encompassing idea behind all of it. Shift Change works in both industries. In the bag is soda water, so that's what I added an interactive component for it as well. So you just unclip this up here, and then soda will go in. It's like a little pinching motion. The cocktail has Hendrick's. I infused it with fresh strawberries. I sourced the strawberries from California, where I'm originally from. Those strawberries were whole, chopped, and this infusion was 266 grams for 500 milliliters. Put a little bit of citric acid to help with the acidity, and also put 2 slices of cucumber. The whole point was to highlight Hendrick's, not to hide it. I love gin. I love working with gin. Hendrick's has a lot of botanicals, 11 of them. The cucumber, lemon peel, and the orange peel was what I was trying to bring out. I used a lemongrass tincture, a saline tincture. Saline tincture is at 25% to really just bring those citrus notes out without adding more citrus. Added half an ounce of lime juice, fresh lime juice, 2 to 3 mint leaves, 2 slices of cucumber, both cut cut up and thrown in there. The lemongrass tincture was in there to help highlight the ginger lemongrass syrup I made. I wanted to use ginger to bring out another round of complexity, a little bit of almost spice, but without using spice. So that was the idea behind that. And the clarified strawberry was just a full-on, just really punch that strawberry home. Again, strawberries we use from California, diced, thrown peg necks in there, and then use our centrifuge at high to just really get all the impurities out. And then that's how I got a non-muddled drink here. I just wanted to really just hone in with the founder chemist. I have a biochem degree, so again, just like putting that sciencey part in here, but also having fun with it. Using this serve style, I wanted it to be able to be drank at a lounge or on a rooftop and not really get eliminated by egg whites or have an expiration date. I also, as being on a rooftop, I wanted it to last while I was making it. The last ingredient, I wanted to use a vermouth. I didn't know if I was going to go dry, blanco, or sweet. I went with lo-fi Genisha Amaro. It is also pink in color, which helped me with my color choice here, but it's also from California and also adding those floral and citrus notes without having to jam it with full of sugar. Cool. And that's it.
Gabe's cocktail is absolutely phenomenal. He took his experience from both his paramedical as well as his hospitality industry to craft this beautiful little cocktail with strawberry infused gin and a bunch of other like goodness. Very herbaceous, very reminiscent, but it's also bold enough to not resort to the typical martini glass. The coupe glass is phenomenal. It's even got the Hendrick logo on it. I don't know what to, maybe this could be a little more user friendly. That's the only note I have. But other than that, Gabe did a fantastic job.
Howdy, y'all. My name's Alan. I work at Hyde Lower Greenville. The cocktail you have in front of you is going to be called Tea Time in Texas. It's an homage to my parents and my upbringing. I'm from a small town in the Panhandle, far from here. It's about a 7-hour drive. We got nothing going on for us up there except some sweet tea. That's what we do best. I'm a tea lover myself. I get it from my father. I love the man to the end of the day because he showed me what good sweet tea really is. But inside my tea loving household, there's always one person, right? Happened to be my mom. My mother hates sweet tea. She can't understand like my love for the sugar, so she would drink water. She drank water with cucumbers and limes, make it a little more fresh, and she called it her flavor, you know? So when I heard we were doing a riff on the Eastern Standard, I immediately thought of my mother from cucumber and lime, and I'm like, okay, I can make something work. I can relate it to my mom. And in my trial and error of all this, I was sitting there drinking a glass of sweet tea. I shit y'all not, I have like an addiction. It's bad. Like ask my girlfriend. I promise you, it's horrible. But when I was researching and trying to figure it out, I was drinking sweet tea, and I read in a book, and it says if you infuse something with tea to milk wash it. And I was like, what if I infuse Hendrick's with black tea? And so I did. I infused it with black tea. When I tried it, it was very, very, very dry. So I decided to milk wash it. Milk washing stripped some of the color, but it also stripped a lot of those tannins, a lot of that super dry taste you get in your mouth, and it creates a nice, soft, beautifully colored gin. Along with it, I paired a recipe of my own. I made a black tea and black peppercorn syrup. Steeped some black tea and black peppercorns in some hot water for about 10 minutes, mixed it with equal parts sugar, layered it. Beautiful taste. It helps with the taste of tea. When the cucumber and mint and lime try to take over and boost that flavor of tea, and the black peppercorn is some nice spice to help round it off. Along in there, I also have Zucca Rubarbaro. It's a rhubarb liqueur made in Italy. It's a long line back into the 1830s, way before any of us were around. But rhubarb also is a little inspiration from my grandmother. My grandmother makes a kick-ass rhubarb pie. I'm telling you, man. I'll bring you some eventually. But then in there I got some fresh lime juice, some cucumbers, fresh mint, and then just a little bit of saline solution to help everything pop, lighten it up. Helps with the head a little bit as well. Your garnishes here is just going to be a cucumber roll, stabbed on a toothpick flying the Texas flag because, well, obviously Texas. And then on the side it's got a black tea bag, the actual black tea I did use in the syrup and in the gin, just to help with the aroma again. The ice I use is Pebble Ice because it's my favorite ice. Being a kid, I would just eat ice, especially going to Sonic. Sonic's got that great ice. So this is actually ice from Sonic. I picked it up today. And then your glasswares, I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, they're all different. I tried to figure out how can I stand out, and along thinking with my family and especially my grandmother, my grandma didn't have a single glass or cup or anything that matched. She just kept a cool jar, kept it in her jar cabinet, and that's what we drank out of. So I did the same thing. I found a couple of cool jars, brought them, and here we are. Truly, it's just who I am. That's all this is. This is me. This is me in a glass. From my mother to my father to my grandparents to everything else around me and how I was raised, this is it. So please sip and enjoy a little tea time in Texas. Any questions?
So Alan's cocktail, Tea Time in Texas, really, really, really good. The black tea pairs really well with the Hendricks, and I can tell thought was put into it, using Hendrick specifically. Mint and cucumber present in the cocktail. I love the personal connection. The presentation is super crisp, super clean. I love it all around. If I had one nitpick, maybe a little bit more of a connection to Dallas personally, but it is understandable. Alan isn't explicitly from Dallas. He just works here in Dallas. He's from the Panhandle of Texas, so I understand where he's coming from. That's the only real nitpick that I have, but otherwise, great job, Alan. You did a fantastic job.
Because this one had a craft cocktail component where each contestant had to make a cocktail from scratch, brand new, original, and come through and present it to a panel of judges. And they all knocked it out of the park. But we can only have 4 to pass to the next round. So I'm going to have my buddy Zach pull up, give us those results. He's one of the judges. Y'all make some noise for Zach. Y'all make some noise!
They had to make a riff of an Eastern Standard cocktail using Hendrick's gin. And for those that don't know what an Eastern Standard is, that is Hendrick's gin, lime, simple syrup, mint, and cucumber. So they had quite... Check, can y'all hear me?
Let's go!
So they had quite the task ahead of them, creating a cocktail that is already balanced on its own while still maintaining integrity of it. And before I say anything, can I just say, Dallas, so far, y'all have been the best city when it comes to craft. I mean that. And I've heard a lot about Houston, and there wasn't a single one of y'all cocktails that I wouldn't fly off the menu. Swear to God. With that being said, somebody had to be last place, somebody had to be first place. So let's get into the results, huh? Coming in 8th place with 13.7 points. Ruby! Coming in 7th place with 14 points. Julian! Coming in 6th place with 14.7 points. Tristan! Coming in 5th place with 19 points. Emily! Coming in 4th place with 19.3 points, Styx. Coming in 3rd place with 20.3 points, give it up for Tyson.
Let's go, Tyson!
So that leaves our 2 boys from Hyde, Gabe and Allen. One of y'all got 23 points on average, and the other one got 21 points. With that being said, the winner and first place of the craft portion of Speedrailz Dallas, Gabe!